So in part one of this what if scenario, we talked about interventions that could bring us through the shock and awe of answers to what if, which are really intended to bring us into this place of worry and fear and protection and all of that. So we talked about looking at the likely scenario, the optimistic scenario, and the doomsday scenario, and putting a percentage of likelihood to each of those steps along the way. Part two, I want to talk about just tapping it away and getting clarity through tapping. So let's do that now. We lose the glasses. We shake it up a bit. We tune into what if. So I'm not going to give a specific name to what if. You'll put that in right as we're tapping, as you echo me. But don't forget, go to my David Fugel Life Sherpa Facebook page for the diagram of tapping points if you need them. Otherwise, just pay attention to what I'm doing. But if you're not 100% sure, just go to look at that quickly so you know exactly what you're tapping on. And it would be more effective if we're right on the point. So I'm not going to give you the what if blank. So when I say what if, you fill in the blank. And I'll do the best that I can because I really feel for this real time. I don't script this stuff out. It really comes from my heart based upon real fears, real worries that I have heard or felt or seen because I think that's most effective for all of you. I hope you're appreciating that. And it might not be as polished as some tapping scripts, but I don't care. This feels right. Anyway, so let's go to the karate chop. And we do our setup statement, as always. And I start with, even though I'm not sure what's going to happen if this happens or doesn't happen the way I expect it to. And this what if has me really fearful. I deeply and profoundly honor what's coming up. And I'm open to understanding the fear and why it's so palatable and why I'm feeling it in my body. Even though I have this what if story. What if it does happen? What if it doesn't happen? And even as I say it, I feel it in my body. And it feels so real. And the worry is deep and old. And I know it might be there to protect me, but it doesn't feel like it's protection. It feels pretty nasty every time I think of this what if. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself and honor whatever is coming up. Even though I have this question, what if? And regardless of the likelihood or not likelihood of it happening, I feel trapped in it. I feel trapped in the question. And I keep coming up with these horrific answers. I let my imagination run wild. And I honor all of these things that are coming up as a way of protecting me in this moment, at this time. Go to your eyebrow. What if it does happen? What if it doesn't happen? I can't control this what if. It just keeps ruminating. I feel trapped under this question, this what if question. This what if makes me feel so helpless. And whenever I ask it, it feels so negative. I seem to always go for the negative when I use what if. I feel condemned to this what if. I'm doomed when I ask what if. And I keep asking it. I feel trapped in this what if. This what if energy in my body. I can feel the sluggishness of this what if energy. All of this what if negativity makes me feel so helpless. And I've given my power over this what if. Okay, deep breath. In and out. So, of course, we always want to do our subjective unit of distress when we started tapping. So think about what that was for you, where you felt it in your body, and what that symptom, if it was bubbling in my belly. The bubbling in my belly was a 7. The what if, let's call it fear or anxiety, was an 8. That's where we started. You write that down, and now we follow it through each round of tapping. If you're, what if at this point, what if I do get this situation that I don't want to have happen? Or what if I don't get what I expect? Either one. That's your setup statement. What is it now after one round of tapping? And we would use that first round of tapping until we can get it down. And if specific memory comes to mind because we're open to it, and in the tapping, that's exactly what will happen. It's previous evidence that this what if is likely to happen because it seems to always happen, or if not always, at the most important times. Then we can actually measure that specific event and say, how strong is that time that I was expecting something to happen and it didn't? What if it happens again? So that in that place, that event is a capital T, tiny t, doesn't really matter, trauma. And that's an event. And how much power does that event have over you right here, right now, as you think about it, as you talk about it? And then you measure that. So whichever's higher, that old event that came to mind because you were tapping, and it's evidence that bad things are on, there's a bad moon on the rise, there's something bad happening, right? Then you would go to the higher distress number of the old story or currently my what if question, my what if energy. Okay? So that's what you're going to go to, the higher of the two numbers. And then you'll tap that down if the event is much higher, and probably would be, could be. There's no right or wrong answers in any of this. This is all energy flowing, and we're all going back to the videotape, as they say. And we have these videotapes, and they are coming at us subconsciously constantly. Tapping allows this to bubble up to the surface and become conscious. And in that consciousness, we can clear it. We can relearn the learning that happened. So if my what if I don't get this job, I will go back to times that I didn't get what I wanted, maybe subconsciously, and this one event pops up into my consciousness out of nowhere, and it reinforces how bad and likely this is going to be, that it's not going to happen today. The what if here, this is what always happens. And then we go to that energy. Well, as we tap that energy down on that event, what we really want to do is take the energy out of it, take the learning out of it. What did we learn that is limiting? What are our beliefs that we came away with that are negative? And then we will, again, go back to tapping on that specific event. Now, if it's not, nothing came up, we're feeling better, about a 5 or lower on just the what if energy, I will now take you to a second round of what if tapping, which of course we don't go to the karate chop because we don't need to repeat the setup statement. We're going to go right to the tapping points. And you'll notice that it has a different tone. I'm telling you now that if you're too high in your distress level, your system has this wah, 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 bull dinky. It doesn't feel real. Okay? So don't tap on this round if you're not in a place of lowering that distress level, because it will not feel truthful and you'll just absolutely dismiss it. So you'll be wasting your time doing it. In fact, it may even lose the power of the first tapping. So we want to stay real. This is real. This is your truth. Be in touch with your truth. Not what I want to feel, not what they want me to feel, but it is what it is. I feel what I feel, and I honor myself in doing it. So go to your eyebrow. All of these emotions around this what if, the fear, and this what if fear is old. This what if fear has been around for a while. This what if fear is so familiar. This what if fear feels like it's always negative. What if I chose to let go of the what if fear? I'm not sure I can at this moment. What if is only a question? What if it doesn't go wrong? What if it goes wrong because I'm in such a bad place? What if I have control over how I feel about the what if question? I do have control over what I think, do, and say. Even though it feels automatic sometimes, I have control over how I think about this what if question. So what if my what if? Say that 3 times fast. What if I could feel better about my what if? I suppose I could if I was open to it. And I am in control of what I think, I do, and I say. So what if I turn the table on my what if question? What if I don't give it the power that I'm giving it or have given it? What if I just learned something at the end of this journey around the what if question? Learning is a good thing. What if it wasn't catastrophic? What if the best thing for me is yet to come? What if I don't lose my focus by giving my power over to this what if question? What if I allowed myself to just be clear whether it turns out positively or doesn't turn out at all? What if I could find other ideas along the journey from what I learn in this journey? What if it's playing out the way it's supposed to be? What if I trusted that it was turning out the way it's supposed to turn out? Wouldn't that feel great? I'm not sure I could completely trust that yet. But what if I could? That would feel so much freer. I'm so open to trusting that this is happening and unfolding in a way that it's supposed to. In fact, it is turning out that way. And I can only control what I can control. And the rest of the story is on them. What if the right answer comes at the right time? And I trusted that. Feels risky. And there may be some old blocks to that. I'm open to clearing those blocks because that feels right. I'm open to letting go of the what if energy and control that it has over me and over my trust. I choose trust. I choose to be open to what is unfolding. I choose to trust in the process. I choose to believe that the universe is conspiring on my behalf. I choose to believe that because it feels right and it feels good. And when I choose believing in trust, I feel free. And I choose to feel free in this moment. Deep breath in and out. And there you have tapping for what ifs. So we've looked at two different interventions. I believe they are both effective. Play with them. Experiment with both. I beseech you. See what feels right. Get a piece of paper and write down the most catastrophic what if scenario. Take it right down to the cardboard box that you're going to be living in. The most optimistic, all the way to being president of the United States, perhaps, and the most likely. And give each of those steps in each of those scenarios a percentage of likelihood. And then take a look at what the average of all of those are and see, surprisingly, which is truly most likely when you get out of that place of fear. I think you're going to be surprised. And which is least likely. Do that out of a place, out of your fear. Just be open to whatever those answers are. And then also use tapping. Turn the what if question around and look at trusting the process gently. Don't force it down your throat. It will taste bitter. If you ease into it compassionately, it will be sweet. And that's what we love. And when we tap into our joy, it is sweet. This is David Fugel, Life Sherpa, what ifing himself with you. And I would invite you to subscribe, hit the subscribe button for other awesome videos and interventions. And please, please comment on these. And if you have anything that you would like to tap on, I would love to be there with you. I would love to do that with you. So either send me a comment here or on my Facebook page, which is David Fugel, Fugel, Life Sherpa, or my email, which is It's dfugel.injoy@gmail.com. Comment, criticize, share your experience, suggestions, wide open to it all. In the meanwhile, thank you for joining me, and I hope that your what ifs turn into the most positive scenarios possible. Be well.